Welcome to Born on the Bayou Sports, a Houston sports show made for Houstonians by Houstonians. Join Tim Costello and Scott Barzilla every week as they break down the latest in Houston Astros, Rockets, and Texans news. Tim's a former minor league broadcaster, and Scott has written 2 books on the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, if Javier could get it figured out, it would make things a lot easier because he was that guy everybody was counting on this year to be a Cy Young candidate, take that big step forward and help anchor this rotation with Fromber.
Since he's come to Houston, you can look at the development of guys like Carlos Correa defensively, Jeremy Pena defensively. I mean, you can Alex Bregman's, certainly I think a better than average third baseman.
And now you're putting teams in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9. Now here comes Will Anderson. Pin back your ears, let's go.
So if you're Bayou born and bred, or just like spending time in the H, sit down, relax, and stay Houston strong.
Welcome all my friends to the show that's back again, and so are the Houston Astros. Scott, we are inevitable, winning a fucking must-win series against the Nationals, but all in good time. Scott, how are you this week?
Oh, pretty good. We actually went to last night's game. I don't know if you knew this was Harry Potter night. Unfortunately,
I did. I asked you if you got any of the stuff. You didn't answer me.
No, unfortunately, we couldn't find any of them. So I don't know. We went down to the team store, and there wasn't anything there. Of course, my Janet and Ann, they go with the Slytherin house. That's the house they like to go with. I tested one of those Pottermore things, and they put me at Hufflepuff, which apparently I was supposed to be embarrassed about. I mean, I think there should be a 5th house. I think there should be like a Ravenclaw for like the special ed wizards. Maybe they need to cast spells with only adult supervision. Cannot fly on brooms. You gotta work that magic.
The old Crab and Goyles of the world should have put into a individualized education plan. Is what you're telling me right now. A little IEP.
Absolutely.
Well, Scott, I let you peek at the goods a little early this week by letting you in on what the opening question would be, hoping that we might provoke a better answer, knowing that you had the question a little bit early. So I'll ask you right now for our opening question: what is your favorite trade deadline move of all time?
Okay, so for each sport, I'm going to go local. And I think obviously, JV is probably the best deadline deal, although that wasn't really a trade deadline. That was like that was the waiver deadline. So yeah, kind of different. I'm going to go big unit because I thought that was like, just as giddy as, as I've ever seen the city of Houston. Of course, Mattress Mac jumped on that. Like he had an ad, almost like within 24 hours. With Randy Johnson in it. So, and of course, I don't know if you get much better in terms of immediate great performance. 10-1 with a 1.29 ERA. I mean, that's pretty damn good. Basketball, I'm going with obviously the move to get Clyde Drexler. That was a terrific move, obviously led to a title. Football just doesn't lend itself to as many deadline moves. There just isn't many trades in football. So I'm going to punt on that one.
That's fair. Not really. They tried to open it up a little bit more, right? And let it last a little bit longer now. The NFL used to be like week 4, week 6, right? Like it was like you better figure out if you're going to have a season-ending injury early, or else too bad. But I think, big unit's a great choice. Carlos Beltran, I think, is another really strong one, right? Like he literally put the team on his back in 2004 and carried them as far as he could. Was a great deadline move for that wasn't Papura, was it?
But no.
Papura was hired in 2005, so it was Hunsaker's final swan song.
And I don't know that it was a deadline deal necessarily. I think it was a
It
little
was in
bit.
June.
Yeah, it was before the deadline. So I mean, I'm thinking like July 31st. Like, oh my God, look at what happened.
Man. Okay. Put me on the spot here. Francisco Liriano was really useful.
Treating Teoscar Hernandez. Thank you so much.
He really brought in his value. But I liked Daryl Morey was always a guy when he was here with the Rockets. Like he always felt like he had to make a move, right? And he brought in Josh Smith was one I really enjoyed. His time in Houston when him and Dwight Howard paired up on a team that eventually lost in the Western Conference Finals. Corey Brewer was another deadline move he made that year. Robert Covington when we went with the no center lineup with Russell Westbrook and Harden and PJ Tucker starting at the five. I shouldn't say no center because PJ was technically the center.
6'5". Well, 6'5".
Yeah, not the Chuck wagon, but the Tuck wagon was chugging along strong that year. But no, Morey was always a guy who looked to make a move at the deadline, and I always liked the excitement because you knew like if it had been quiet for too long, like something was cooking. But the Astros, I feel like very rarely wait until the last minute. Either they're going to do it and they get it done when on their price. Like I think Kikuchi was a few days before the deadline. They didn't wait up until the actual day, and then they kind of said, "Hey, that's it. We're not going for anything else. This was the move that we're making." And so it's a little concerning in some ways that we haven't made the move yet, but we'll see. And let's just go ahead and transition into that. Right, you found a way personally, Scott, to stop the slide. We appreciate you going on Tuesday night, bringing a little bit of that born on the Bayou luck to the ballpark and finding a way to get some good omens in the team. I will start out by saying I am a little disappointed in you on Dollar Dog Night. The mentality that you went into that ballpark with was not like how many dollar hot dogs can I eat. It was I'll have a couple.
No. Here's two things you need to know on that, Tim. Number one, there's a limit of 4
per purchase.
And the lines are, you had to go basically get your one. These are pretty damn big hot dogs. That was the second thing.
Okay.
They were not going cheap. I mean, this was, they went pretty big. And actually, Ann did not want to get hot dogs, so they had chicken wings. I didn't know if you knew that they had the chicken wing game.
I did not. Probably not for $1 though, right?
No, not for $1. But they were good chicken wings, and they came with. You could get as many as 4 different dipping sauces. So it's I have to say, pretty strong game there from the Astros on that guy.
Their culinary game's always been pretty strong. I feel like they have a couple spots where they've led the ways on ballpark food trends that have been kind of cool. But yeah, you can buy 4 hot dogs at a time, right? So theoretically, you could have bought 4, and could have also got 4 for you.
Yeah,
right? So you're 8 right there. I'm just going bang for buck. Like I'm telling everybody I'm with, like if you're hungry tonight, your choice is hot dog, right? Like don't come at me with pretzel. Don't come at me with chicken wings. No. If you're hungry, we're having dogs tonight. They're $1 each.
I probably could have put away 3, but it was
salty dogs, huh?
But it was going to be rough if I tried to go more than 3.
I think I've done like 6 as my max at Minute Maid Park. But I mean,
they're different dogs. These are different dogs than what you were getting. These were bigger dogs.
Okay. Do you think there's a world where Start Barzilla is taking on the 9 for 9 for 9 challenge? 1 beer per inning, 1 dog per inning across 9 innings.
No, there's no way. You'd have to roll me out of there.
But you did stop the slide. Astros found a way to pull a tight game out. But I ended up busting it open late. But it got hairy at the end. It was a 3-1 win. So interesting umpiring decisions, we'll say. On a play with Cam Smith on a borderline up the baseline decision. And then bullpen, Brian King continues to be an issue, leaking oil down the stretch. He was not good. Finally got out of there. And thank goodness for Abreu and Hader.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say is that we left the Mariners series up 4 games. So looking at the standings, where are we at right now?
It was 4 after yesterday. We won today. I don't know what the Rangers and Mariners did today.
They have not yet finished. So we're
technically 4.5 right now.
Right. So even if everything works out for both of them, we have the exact same lead that we left the Mariners series with. And that was after getting swept by the Athletics. And, obviously struggling in some other spots as well. So, we're leaking oil, but so are they.
Yeah. I mean, this is part of why we've gone back and forth in our own personal discussions of, do you make a move? Do you not make a move? Because the American League is so winnable. Like, this is not a year where there's one team that you're just like, man, they're so much better than everybody else. Or last year, the Dodgers looked like the class of the whole entire world. But this year, the Dodgers have been just as beat up as you are. So when you look around the landscape of baseball, you don't see a team that you're like, that one really scares me. You see a reason to load up and go get a few players to try and make a move. However, the Astros have spent the entire offseason trying to get below the CBT. They're not very far below it right now. So do you blow that plan out of the water going into next offseason just for a chance this year? It's a tough decision to make.
Well, and I think on top of that, you mentioned, the other teams being within reach. Detroit and Toronto, I think, are at 64 wins. You're at, 62? So, trailing, 2 games in the win column. The best record in the American League is within reach. But my question is even if you take the tax out of it, do you want to make a deal just to get through this year? Or do you want to make a deal where you're potentially shaping the future? And if you do that, is that the best decision? I mean, obviously we're going to get into some individual guys here in a moment, but some of the names that have been mentioned kind of scare me.
There's some guys that scare you. And to me, there's some guys that are really, really enticing when you look at the amount of control that they have left, right? When the Astros made the deal for Zach Greinke in 2019, the best part is you knew you had him for longer than just 2019. When you went and got Verlander, we've got this guy for 2 more years. And so, yeah, those trades not only altered the rest of that season, but they altered the plans too. Because at some point, I'm sure the Astros thought Daz Cameron would be their center fielder of the future, or that I can't even anybody else in that trade.
Jake Rogers.
Jake Rogers, and then the pitcher too, Frankie, whatever.
Yeah.
Right, but these were guys that you thought at some point were going to come up and contribute, and the future changes because you've got 3 years of Justin Verlander. Or, the second time you trade for Justin Verlander, you had this guy, Drew Gilbert, tearing it up. This is our top prospect. At some point, they expected him to come up to be a starting outfielder. Hey, it changes. We want to got JV, and the best part was we got him next year, and we could have him the year after if he hits the innings limit. So yeah.
My biggest name on the board, obviously, is Carlos Correa. Coming, So, but here's my question with Carlos Correa. Obviously, we don't know what the parameters of the deal would be. I'm assuming that Minnesota would take on some money, but I don't know how much that is. But let's just, if you look at his contract, what is he getting? $100 million over the next 3 years?
Something like that. It's like 33 or something like that a year.
Well, and this is what I'm talking about when you're talking about shaping your roster. You make that trade, unless Minnesota takes on a ton of money, you're saying goodbye to Framber Valdez. I mean, that pretty much seals the deal, no Framber. And you're probably not getting any other significant free agents. So are you comfortable with, we're going to bring in Correa, we're going to have Paredes, we're going to have Pena, here's your team in 2026. Let's go get it. I mean, is that Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, because look at that team. At the end of the day, that team is, on paper at least, if you have Altuve in left field, which I'm fine with, if Paredes is playing second base, which was the original plan to keep Bregman, was to put Paredes at second base and move Altuve to left. You've now got a whole new view on Jake Myers as my starting center fielder in 2026, and I've got Cam Smith in right field. So other than pitching, I don't. If I make this, if theoretical, you make the move for Carlos Correa, I don't have room for a free agent defensively. Where are you putting them?
But you just said the magic words. Other than pitching. So remember, Fromber leaves, which leaves you a rotation of Hunter Brown and a shit ton of guys coming off of Tommy John. Are you comfortable? Huh?
And Cole Gordon.
Yes, and Brandon Walter. Okay.
Please don't underestimate them, please.
Are you comfortable with that rotation?
No, I'm not. But I think, I don't know, the comments Fromber made Monday night after the strange defensive alignment allowed that run to score, does that sound like a guy who's looking forward to coming back here? That sounds like a guy who's pretty pissed off.
Well, no, but here's the thing: is that, and you've got, if you have a pot of $50 million to spend, right? And you assume a world where Fromber does leave, you can probably afford a bat and a middle of the rotation arm, and maybe extensions for one or two of your guys. So, which one are you better off doing? Are you better off Correa or all that list that I gave you?
Obviously, you want to try and do a lot of things. I get it, but also it's not just if Fromber comes off. You've got $39 million coming off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be like $50 million.
Pena's not going to sign an extension. Let's get that out of our minds.
No.
I don't think Boris lets that happen, so throw that one out the window. Hunter Brown, I believe, is a Boris guy too now, so throw that one out the window.
Now, what you do question that you do have, and I can't remember who floated this, but I think it may have been Spillane who floated this. Do you trade Spillane, Adam Spillane? Do you trade Pena?
No. Not right now.
I mean, in the offseason.
No.
I mean, so you'd have 2 years.
Not this offseason, at least.
So, I mean, that's part of it. Now, obviously, from the Correa thing gets to the name. I think you and I can dispatch rather easily. Is apparently we've been flirting with Nolan Arenado again. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to find the puke emoji because
it's just like you're at your high school reunion and the prom queen's there, and you always had a fucking crush on the prom queen, but now she's had a rough go of life. Okay, like she's traveled some roads, she's rode a few poles, probably done meth a few times. And she doesn't look very good. But you're still trying to bang the fucking prom queen just for the sake of it, to say that you were with the prom queen. Like, this is what it's like to be like, yeah, we've got Nolan Arenado. But, like, the 2025 version of Nolan Arenado.
Well, and I looked him up. Last time I looked him up, he has a 37 WRC+.
That's a good number. That's a good round number.
Yeah, so for those of y'all who are
average, right?
100 is average. 100 is average. And here's the thing, and what I noticed, and the difference is between him and Correa's StatCast numbers are considerably better than what he's putting up. So, I mean, right now he's roughly at a 700-ish OPS, but he probably should be, according to the StatCast numbers, between 750 and 800. So you're talking about adding, if you moved him to third base, you're talking about adding potentially a Gold Glove level third baseman, because he was a Gold Glove level shortstop.
Platinum Glove.
And, well, one season. and somebody who's going to be, well over 100 WRSC plus, versus Nolan Arenado, who is still good defensively, but I personally think he's a Hall of Famer. But it'd be like, the 87 or 88 Astros adding Buddy Bell. I don't know that you were around for that one. But it was kind of like, Buddy Bell. Oh, it's Buddy Bell. This Buddy Bell. Jeez.
Yeah, it's like when we added Beltran the second time. Like, this guy's...
Well, he was coming up a good year in 2016. So we thought we were getting, still a pretty good player. He just turned out not to be good in 2017.
He wasn't terrible. He just was not he thought you were good.
So
brought some things you should have done too. But oh well.
I think the other ones, just to round it out, Dylan Cease from the Padres, that would be a rental. And then I'm trying to think, you mentioned Willie Castro.
Mm-hmm.
He
intrigues me because he can play like 7 different positions.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else who they really have been connected to. The one with Dylan Cease was interesting, though, because they mentioned Jacob Melton, which I don't care if we lose him. But the one they mentioned is they need catching and them being interested in Yiner. So where does that strike your fancy?
This is not the first time you and I have talked about using Yiner as a trade chip. But also at the same time, like Yiner's actually been pretty good outside of April this year. Starting in May, he's pretty darn good player. Homered back-to-back games. I have no reason to move away from Yiner right now, and especially like as beat up as the lineup is, I would not give up a bat that's actually swinging well, because like they found ways to use Yiner and Caratini pretty effectively many times on the same day through this stretch, and I can't see a world where you're giving up a quality major league bat right now. Like a lot of the people that are coming back are arms, so more than anything, like I truly see them leaning towards a bat. Like you're getting Christian Javier back theoretically pretty soon. You're getting Aaron Getty back theoretically pretty soon, and you're getting Dubin back. He's on a rehab assignment in AAA. You're getting Pena back theoretically on Friday. He is on his second or third rehab assignment today. So like help is coming back, but Paredes minimum 2 months basically is what it's looking like right now. That's all of August, all of September. Now we're into the postseason. How are you going to rehab and come back? That's it, in my opinion.
I only do it under one condition, and that is that you have to make a second deal for a bat. Because as you mentioned, you are subtracting a bat from a team that needs bats. And I'm okay with, for the remainder of the year, rolling with Caratini as your primary catcher. I think Cesar Salazar is good enough to be a backup catcher. So that part doesn't bother me. And I don't know how much long-term utility Yiner has. I could see that being a crunch when it comes time to, like, do we give him an extension? Here's a guy that swings at everything. I could see that portion of it. So if you were able to swing a Correa deal at the same time, I might do that, because the difference is I think Dylan Cease right now is your number 3 playoff starter. I think that he fits a need that you have that none of the returning arms are going to fit.
I agree with you for the most part on that, minus Christian Javier. Depending what version of him coming back, like if you get 2022 Christian Javier back, that guy's your third playoff starter, and you don't worry about it. If you get 2024 Christian Javier, we got problems.
Realistically, though, guys in their first year after coming back from Tommy John, are not. I mean, they're 100% physically in terms of like velocity, but most of them struggle with command. It's that second year back. So to me, if you could tell me 2026 Christian Javier is the number 3 starter, I'm like, yeah, I could buy that. But I don't buy either him or Garcia as being consistent playoff ready starters this year.
And that's fair. Aaron Getty, luckily coming back from a broken hand.
Yeah, I could see that.
As much of a concern. But again, I don't even think Aaron Getty got a chance to start a playoff game last year because we only played 2 and we got bounced pretty quickly. So, you know what's interesting to me, though, Scott? The Angels are buying. I don't understand what the fuck happens in that ballpark in the front office that you signed Kikuchi to the big deal that nobody else was offering in the offseason. You're nowhere near the playoff race as far as I'm concerned, right? Like they're not within striking distance, are they? They're at least 6 games back of our division, and they're behind 2 other teams in the standings minimum. I have to look. But I know they're behind at least the Rangers and the Mariners, so they have to leapfrog 2 teams. And they went and got one of the better relievers and a nice hitter, too. Like, we all thought the Angels would be selling, and here they are fucking buying.
Now, who did they get in hitting-wise?
I thought it was a two.
No. They're both. There are 3 Luis Garcias in Major League Baseball, and so apparently there is a reliever, Luis Garcia.
Oh, I thought it was the second baseman.
No, it wasn't the second baseman, because I made sure to look that up. And Andrew Chafin, who pitched in last night's game when we went, and he could not get through the inning because he was the one they took him out so that they could turn Cooper Hummel around.
That's
and
right.
I was laughing. It was like you're pitching, and then he shuts me up with a single. So it's like, okay, all right, I see where you're going with that. All right, so your LA Angels, 53 and 55, they're 8.5 back. But see, when you're getting Luis Garcia, who has a 4 ERA, and Andrew Chafin, who's kind of a situational lefty, are you really going for it?
No. But like, I guess my main question is, why are you buying?
Well, I think the Angels and the Mariners both. I mean, they're kind of mirror images of each other, where they end up like the Mariners will buy, but it's like, but you're really not fully going for it. Like when they got Luis Castillo, I was like, man, that's a nice pickup, but you still can't hit, and you didn't get any hitters. And now you got Caleb Ferguson, who he was in our bullpen last year, enjoy him, and you got Josh Naylor, who's a good player. He's a good player, but I don't know that he changes anything drastically for that team.
I mean, they need a first baseman for a long time, and he'll give him above average first baseman.
You give him Suarez back, then maybe that moves the needle some. But I mean, it's just unbelievable how and the Rangers. Who knows what the Rangers are doing? I don't know if the Rangers know what they're doing.
They're on a pretty hot streak right now.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, are they going to go for it? Or are they going to, are they selling? Are they buying?
I assume they'll buy.
You would think so, right? But then, like within a week before the deadline, they were talking about selling different parts, like Adolis Garcia being available, and things like that. So, who the heck knows?
And Scott, you wrote a piece that came out. Was it Monday that piece came out?
Might have been Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday.
Tuesday morning, though, before we won the game. Now that we've won this national series, because to preface this, your piece was you think we should stand pat.
Yeah.
Now that you've won this 2 games in a row, you're still at 4-game lead. Everything we've discussed, you're only 2 games back at the top record in the AL. Do you still hold that opinion?
Yes, I do. Because really, the fact of whether or not we had a 2-game lead or 4-game lead wasn't. I did not say the Astros can't win, because we've seen too much this year. to come out against this team. What I said is that what's going to determine whether or not this team wins is whether or not they can get healthy. That's what's going to determine. Can you get Pena back? Can you get Myers back? You keep hearing whispers that Jordan may come back. I'm not buying it. Can you get those trio or quartet of arms back, in the rotation? If that all happens, I think this team wins the West. But if none of it happens, then I don't know what you can do to change the trajectory of this team.
I don't think you're wrong. And again, we've talked, I just mentioned you worked hard to get below the CBT so you could spend next year. That's theoretically been the conversation. But sometimes I think the team as constituted could win the West as well. I completely agree with you, especially if they get healthy. But I don't think I don't know if this is completely a World Series contending team. Even if the people who get healthy, right? Losing Paredes was a big loss. He's probably our most consistent offensive throughout the whole season, at least from a power perspective. I don't think you can count on Alvarez, but getting Pena back will help. I don't know what's going to happen with Myers. So you're looking at potentially going into a playoff series with Trammell as your starting center fielder. Altuve in left maybe, or at second. Cooper Hummel. I mean, I think there's ways they can hold off the other contender, other teams biting at their heels, but I don't want to go into a playoff series like that, right? There's part of me that says you shouldn't necessarily plan for October, but when you put a roster together, the goal is always to win a World Series with this roster, and I feel like it's within reach with certain tweaks, right? Another high leverage bullpen arm would be fantastic. That's got to happen. You shouldn't have lost that game for Albertas on Monday night. Should have fucking happened. We've seen enough to know that you need a good seventh inning guy because we don't really have that. You've got the eighth and ninth locked up, but you mix and match between Ort and Souza and King and tried Neris. That fucking wasn't it, right? But you don't have a guy that you can go to in the seventh inning and say, go get me three. Go get me three right here. Where if Fromber goes 6 or Hunter Brown goes 6, that should be ball game. Because it was in 22. When you won the World Series in 22, if your starter went 6 and you had the lead, shut it down, lights out, over. Because you went 7, 8, 9 with no questions asked. And that's something I would seriously consider more than anything right now. That to bat, you need a bat, but also how many runs is the middle inning guys giving up here in this tough stretch they've had in July? The numbers to me, I don't know off the top of my head, but I would bet the middle inning guys take Hader and Abreu out of it haven't been good.
Well, here's the thing with that is that 100% of what you said is right. However, I'm going to ask you a simple question. How many runs did we score in the Fromber game?
1.
You're not winning many baseball games when you score 1 run.
That's fair.
And to say this, and this is part of my reasoning, do we need a 7th inning guy? Absolutely. Do you need a 3rd playoff starter? Should we make it to October? Absolutely. Do we need probably 1 or 2 bats, even assuming Pena and Myers and Jordan come back? Absolutely. Where are you going to get this? Because, even if you're looking, so let's say, let's just assume Myers is out for the year, right? You want a better center fielder than Trammell. Where are you finding that?
I don't think you're going to get a better center fielder at this point in the season than what Trammell is giving you right now. The guy's playing a darn good center field. He's giving you productive. He went 0 for 4 yesterday, but he still found a way to drive in a run, and he still made he's got above a 750 OPS. Trammell's been
that's
productive.
kind of what I'm saying though, is that if your options in the market are, hey, let's go get Cedric Mullins.
I've never wanted Mullins. You've been pushing Mullins for 2 fucking years now, Scott.
Well, I looked up his numbers. He's minus 16 in center field defensive runs. But, The other guy who's kind of getting hot lately is Luis Robert. He's got his average up to 210. I mean, that's where I'm kind of getting at is, if you want a new left fielder, who is out there that you can look at and go like, man, that guy would really make us better. Now, obviously, a Correa is a different situation because, he knows Houston, and it's a situation where Minnesota is looking to cut salary. So, maybe they don't take a whole lot back if you take on that salary. But you're talking about blowing a hole through that CBT. So, I don't know. Do you want to do that?
I don't want to blow a hole in the CBT. What I'm willing to do is I'm willing to give you a better prospect if you keep me below the CBT this year, and then I'll take the contract on going forward. Like, if we could find a way to do that, which I think is part of the discussion that has to be happening right now, is if they're having a true, legitimate conversation about trading for him, it's not without Minnesota covering part of the contract, right? There's no way the Astros are saying, okay, yep, send him home. We'll take it. Whatever you got, bring it home. Like, no, there's going to be a how much you covering. Okay, well, we need this level of prospect, yada, yada, yada. I think there's a way to get this done. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a capologist or any of those things, but there's got to be a way to get this done where Minnesota covers enough this year, and then after that, the Astros are willing to take on a bit more, and then you could stay below the CBT. Then you have that money to spend next year, and realistically, you still have like $15 million or so to go get yourself another starter or a couple bullpen arms, things of that nature, based on that $50 million number that you're looking at. It should be like 17 or $15 million to spend. So there's that option. I think you're probably going to have to give up Bryce Matthews, though.
Yeah.
Like, say goodbye to Bryce Matthews. Say goodbye to, I don't know, outside of that, maybe that catcher we have that's a first-round draft pick.
I don't know about that. I like him. But I think you probably get rid of some arms. But see, and if you looked at, if you look at the JV deal as as a comp back in 2023, we gave up who was labeled our number one prospect, Drew Gilbert. But what has Drew Gilbert done at the major league level?
Zero. He got traded again.
So to me, take Bryce Matthews because you're going to have Paredes for another couple of years. You're going to have Pena for another couple of years. You're going to have Correa for at least 3 more years. Where is Matthews going to play?
Exactly.
And so
you still have Altuve.
You could, and if they wanted Jacob Melton, in addition to, fuck yeah, get out of town. I never really considered Correa as a realistic option, and I still don't know that he is. And my fear is that you're going to spend so much time, dilly-dallying with Minnesota, tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. We're going to wake up at 4:00 in the afternoon, go, shit, we didn't get anybody.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern. That's a really high concern for me because even just a single move for a high-quality bullpen arm moves the needle to me. If you go get me a solid 2.5 ERA, throws 97 guy, you can run. Even if you brought fucking Phil Maton back, who's been good this year for St. Louis.
He's not throwing 97. Hate to break it to you. He's not throwing 97.
No. I'm just saying Phil Maton actually has been very effective for St. Louis.
Sure.
They've got a couple relievers and they're clearly selling. Go get Maton and the other guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they've got 2 relievers available. Go get those guys, and you can give up. You could probably get away with giving up like blue ball in that scenario. Maybe like a somewhat good starting pitching prospect because I don't think Gordon or any of the other guys that we've lost, Walter or not lost, but let me throw it there.
Gusto with his 7th win.
Gusto, yeah, man, he fucking won wrong. He got pitched a good game today, but I think worst case scenario, go get a reliever. Go get a reliever and give yourself a chance.
Can I interest you in Emmanuel Clase? I mean, he's going to be out for a bit, but
It's a gamble.
But hey, in September, he's your seventh inning guy.
I mean, I hate to break it to Abreu at that point. If you get Clase, he's at least your eighth inning guy.
Yeah,
him and Hader are going to duke it out in the parking lot to see who pitches the ninth.
I wouldn't bet on that.
I don't know, Scott. I hear you're a betting man. All right. Let's take a quick jog down 59 to Kirby and peek in on Texans training camp. Because I think one of the quotes that I heard coming out of camp today was there are two ways that you could look at this right now. Either the Texans defense is unbelievable and elite, or this offensive line still has some work to do. Scott, which way do you want to look at this?
Why not both?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think obviously, who knows how much of this playbook are they releasing as well? I mean, basically what I'm hearing is that they're going with the shorter, passing game. So it sounds like at least Nick Caley is not, delusional like Bobby Slowick was, where it's like, man, we're just going to chuck it down the field. We'll have plenty of time. At least he's looking at it like my offensive line is not good. I'm going to have to go quick. I'm going to have to give C.J. Stroud, the ability to change, protections at the line of scrimmage, change plays. So at least like they're doing that. But, yeah, I'm going to have to, based on all the reports I've read, this defense is kicking the offense's ass.
And let's be fair. This could be the best secondary in the NFL, right? No one's played any downs, anything like that. But your two cover corners in Lassiter and Derek Stingley are wonderful lockdown man-to-man cover corners. You've got Bullock, you've got Petrie, and you've got C.J. Gardner-Johnson across the back end as your safeties. Like, they are flying around. Those are 5 ball hawks. Those are guys that are going to lock down a lot of passing game, right? So even in these drills, like if CJ takes just a couple extra seconds to try and find an open player because of how good these guys are, this offensive line's not there yet.
And you got Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, pin back your ears, let's go. I mean, this is
my line.
Yeah, promo quote there. But this is, and they have got just absolutely stupid depth at defensive end. I mean, we haven't even seen Dinoco Autry yet. We haven't seen who's the other guy?
Tim.
No, not Tim Settle. Defensive end last year scored a defensive touchdown. I can't remember. He was like the third defensive end. Used to play for the Eagles. I'm trying to remember his name. But we have, 2 or 3 other guys, Dylan Hornfrog, who are making some big plays, as, second, third, fourth team guys. I don't know. Maybe that tells you how bad this offensive line is. I think what is looking like a bust is Blake Fisher. I mean, everything I've heard described, he is not looking good at all. Have you heard anything from Juice Scruggs?
I have not. I gotta be honest, I don't pay for the analyst stuff from our former show guest, Cody Stoops, who came on. I just get the free email and it cuts off after so many words. So
I'll save you the effort. I'll save you the effort. There has not been much on Juice Scruggs. And you're talking about with him and Fisher, there's been plenty on Fisher, and it's not pretty. But what I will tell you, I mean, those are 2 second-round picks. So, I mean, you're obviously, Nick Caserio is the fair-haired boy, maybe the most celebrated GM in Houston, but probably doesn't necessarily deserve it based on the fact that he has made some tactical blunders.
I don't think his draft picks have been all wonderful, right? Like he's had some tough scenarios to deal with. He had no first or second round picks his first year, but he's had plenty of misses. his who's the his first round pick, the guard that we've already got rid of.
Oh, Kenyon Green.
Green was terrible. Fisher not looking good. Although I saw some good things from the lineman we took in the third round this year, the one we traded up to get.
Oh, Ursery? Yeah, he's the starting right tackle right now.
He stayed and got some reps with Will Anderson. I saw those two working out together. I can't remember whose threads account I was like looking at it. I'm going to preface that I don't use Twitter, folks. I use threads. Not a Nazi, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, no, I don't have the elite access that you do, Scott, but I've seen enough to be a little concerned there, especially because some of the quotes coming out have compared this offense to like the Bill O'Brien scheme. And like, to me, the Bill O'Brien scheme at times was okay, but like when it was Deshaun Watson, it was kind of like, hey man, let's play some backyard football. You're going to run around for a while, either take off after that or find somebody open after you've run around for 12 seconds, so then keep it going.
That was only in the third or fourth quarter.
Hand off up the middle for 2 quarters.
Yeah, there was who was that? Lamar Miller.
Miller up the middle.
Let's run up the middle with our scat back. Oh shit, it didn't work. And then he goes to Alabama, and it's the same exact offense, except now it's Bryce Young. It's like, okay, I'm gonna run the football for 2.5 quarters. It doesn't work. Okay, Deshaun Watson, Bryce Young, time for some hero ball.
Help me out, baby. But, that does concern me a little bit. Although at the same time, like, if it's just verbiage and things like that, like, okay, O'Brien came from the Patriot system, like the Bill Parcells School of Coaching. Like, I can understand if the verbiage is the same, but if we're calling plays the same way, I'm going to have some real concerns.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what I've heard, at least from D'Amico, is that the offense is tailored around the talent that we do have. And that's something that Bill O'Brien wasn't good at doing. Bill O'Brien was going to run his system. Lamar Miller, as we mentioned before, he was going to run his system the way he was going to run it, regardless of the talent. At least it sounds like Nick Caley is not doing that. But, of course, we won't know until we see actual football.
I will be interested, though. You've got a guy like Kirk, and you've got, this Belichick or O'Brien or, Parcells, whatever tree offense you want to call it. I'd love to see if Kirk's a guy who's used almost like Welker or Edelman, right, on those quick little throw it out in the flat, let him pick 5 or 6 yards up at a time. If he makes a move, he's gone, right? Those quick little routes that almost become your running game. Then you combine that with a Mixon and a Chubb, and we can punch you in the face. Like, that's tough to get to CJ if he's firing the ball out immediately just into the flat. Then you got to bring everybody up, and you've got 2 guys you can go over the top with. That's what won the Patriots, the AFC when they were perfect till the Super Bowl, when they had Randy Moss going deep and Wes Welker underneath. Like, that could be dangerous. They just, to be fair, the comparing the Patriots offensive line from that year to what the Texans had this year is completely different animals.
Well, that and I, as much as I don't like them, nobody really compares with him. The one thing that does concern me is Nick Chubb has not looked good. You still don't have Dameon Pierce. You still don't have Christian Harris, but that's a whole different story. So Jawar Jordan is right now your best running back in camp. How are you feeling about that one?
I'm not worried about it. I think Chubb will be fine as the guy in his role, right? Like, I think he's going to be on a pretty tight pitch count, 10 or 12 carries a game, guy who seeks contact. I think he's someone who will be fine. We know what he's capable of. I'm concerned that Chubb's out. Very concerned that Mixon is out for as long as he is. I don't see Pierce being a part of this team. I really don't. I think he's a post-June 1st cut, saves you some money, and you move on, right? Christian Harris, who the fuck knows what's going on there? That's the Texans' Lance McCullers. But at the end of the day, Pierce is not someone that in any way should be relied on. You've got guys who were better returners in college than Pierce is right now. So if that's the one thing you're keeping him for, he's a power back who can't pick up on a 4th and 1. Do you trust Pierce to get that one for you? Like, are you bringing him in for that, or are you just going to let Mixon or Chubb do it? Like, honestly.
No, I mean, I think Nick Chubb would be the guy for that role.
So then what's the point of keeping Pierce at that?
Yeah, that's true.
If you've already got the role that he's supposed to do field, cut him and move on. Maybe we'll catch on somewhere else.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, Scott, let's get some awards away.
All right.
I think it's time to pop someone right in the kisser.
Or punch him in the throat. Punch him in the throat. I am going to go with the homeless athletics. So I've been, perusing Major League Baseball trade rumors. Free plug there, unless you want to send me some cash for that plug. And I came up on one where it had 3 teams in on Mason Miller. So how familiar are you with Mason Miller, Tim?
Pretty familiar. Elite closer, throws damn near 100 miles an hour. He's a little banged up this year, though.
He's got 4 years of club control left.
That too.
So you're going to take a guy that throws 100 and is probably your most valuable asset, and you're going to trade him now? I mean, could you imagine the Pirates going like, oh, okay, Yankees, you can take Paul Skeens now? I mean,
the package would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the package would be huge, but and my problem is that at a certain point, you need to be building towards something, because the A's have some talent. I mean, you saw what Nick Kurtz did to us. I mean, that guy was a one-man wrecking crew in that four-game series. You've mentioned Brent Rooker before. Not a great player, but, fairly solid player. You got Jacob Wilson. I mean, you've got, Butler is a pretty decent player. Shea Langoliers is not a bad catcher. You've got some good talent on this team. And if you did nothing but keep those guys that are underneath, the free agent marker, under 6 years, and you keep them 2 more years, what happens if another one of your kids comes up and does something? What happens if you get like 3 or 4 kids develop into something, add it to that list of guys that I talked about? This is a team that right now I think is a 75-win team. 75-win teams aren't going to get you anything, but you add 2 or 3 players to that, that might develop into your system, and you could be talking about a mid-80s win team, which could be a wild card type team. But if you just trade all those guys as soon as they start getting good, you're never going to actually build anything. I mean, to me, the blueprint that I would go with, and I don't even want to mention the Rays, because the Rays are otherworldly in terms of evaluating talent. So let me go Royals. Go Royals in that period of 2010 to 2015-16, right? They're the team that beat the Astros in 2015, the playoffs. They went on to the World Series, and
they won in 16, I believe.
They won in
15, because then the Cubs won in 16 and we won in 17.
Yeah. So you had talent on that Royals team that percolated, was good enough, and then after 2016, things started. They had to start selling things off. So I get it from that standpoint, but when you start pre-selling, it's just not fun anymore. I mean, think about being a lonely A's fan. Your team doesn't have a home. I mean, are they going to go to Vegas? I guess maybe. I mean, if you're a Pirates fan, Paul Skeens is probably gone in 2 years. I mean, if you're a Rockies fan, you suck. You've got Rachel Phelps as your owner, who's saying like, and these guys are starting to win a few games. I didn't think they'd win 29 games all year. We're going to I think we can force a losing streak, and we can get this thing back in good shape.
I think buses here pretty soon.
The Rockies error. Hey, can you call one of those stewardess? I don't think there are any stewardess. Are there any pilots? Oh,
I think interdivision games, the Rockies should start taking a bus. It's not that far to Arizona from Colorado. They don't need a plane.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you can see like their old catcher, icing his knees, in the back of the bus. Yeah, I could definitely see that. But it's just not fun when you have teams that aren't trying to win at all.
Yeah, it's not fun for the fans. It's not fun for baseball. And what's frustrating is, like, if you and I ever had enough money to buy a team, we would be the biggest fans of that team, right? Like, our whole focus would be to build a winning team. We wouldn't care about the financials, right? Like, we have enough money to buy a baseball team. It'll all work out. If we build a winning product, the fans will come. This man, at least in my opinion, he's stripping this thing for parts. Like, this is Zelenskyado coming in for Callahan body parts now, all a Tommy boy, right? Like, he is trying to get the team to move from a decrepit old stadium in Oakland to a new one in Vegas. He is stripping any long-term, large financial commitments away. So not only is he raising the valuation of his team because he's got a brand new stadium in a new city, but he's also making it a very low, not a lot of long-term assets, right? You're just literally getting the opportunity to grow it. So it's become a financial thing. And that's just so frustrating because any young kid who's ever dreamed of owning a team, like, we wouldn't do it like this. We wouldn't treat it like this. It would be our favorite toy that we'd never want to stop playing with.
All right, Tim, if you own a major league team, are you charging the players for soda?
No. I'm not serving soda. We're staying healthy. Fucking vitamin water for everybody.
All right, Tim, who you got?
I would like to punch a lot of people. Okay, this is going to be a scenario where you just like line them up in a circle, and I'm in like a spinning chair, and just like however many I can in a row with the Texas GOP. Have you seen the new redistricting lines that we're having shoved down our fucking throat for Congress?
Yeah.
North Texas, we're losing 2 Democratic seats. These lines are fucking insane. Like, I honestly think you could close your eyes and just scribble on a map and draw better districts than what they chose to draw, because they chose to just work shit in the most ass-backwards fucking way ever imaginable. And it's crooked and it's disgusting and it's all happening right in front of us. And no one's going to do anything. Like, they're fucking with our lives and no one gets to do anything about it. So if I could go one at a time and just hit them all individually as hard as I can, one time right in the face, it would feel awesome.
Yep. When you can't get the voters to choose you, you choose your voters.
Yeah. I mean, they're just going to put all the Democrats into 2 bigger districts, right? And basically just continuing to fuck us in the ass with a steel bat. And I for one, am tired of it. I really am, because it's not fun anymore. This is just too much winning, Scott. I can't handle all this winning. This is
no kidding.
It's just like when Charlie Sheen got kicked off his show because he was winning all the time.
Absolutely. Tiger DNA.
All right, Scott. Let's do a horse's ass. I think we're on the same page for this one.
This one is another group one as well, because you said something last week that I found interesting, and you talked about some of the business calls that you sat in on with executives going like, after like one sentence, oh yeah, we got it. American Eagle. I can't remember the exact. Sydney Sweeney has great genes. I think
as she's sitting in everything made, like everything she's wearing is made out of blue jeans, and then she says, "My jeans are blue."
Yeah, and so now some people on social media, particularly people who are not white like Sydney Sweeney, took offense to this ad, think that it was highly offensive, and think that it was racist. Now, do I think that American Eagle intended to be racist? I doubt it. I think this is probably one of those situations like you described last week where somebody went like, yeah, okay, go ahead and do it. And then, they did it and went like, oh, shit, this didn't turn out the way that we thought it would. But see, my favorite, though, is you get these, I just call them dicks on social media, who basically come out and complain about how it's not racist, and then call themselves out as racist. Like one of my favorite, this woman said, "I can't go in the store anymore," and then this one person like, "Well, it looks like shoplifting rates just went down 100%." Yeah, come on. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous. And obviously, we're going to the lowest common denominator. I don't know if Sydney Sweeney is really the scumbag in this. I don't know how much she played in this ad and whether or not she went like, yeah, this is what I want. But somebody made that final decision, and they look incredibly stupid now.
I think it's a few things here because I also wanted to include this as my horse's ass this week, so we've kind of come together. I think there's a few. The quote-unquote content creators, right? Like if you just literally search Sydney Sweeney ad on TikTok, which my wife did and she showed me, there's like a shit ton of people who have their little corner of their video in the corner of the screen of the ad rolling as they talk shit about the ad, right? So you're a content creator, quote-unquote. Well, all you're doing is just creating controversy where it doesn't need to be. Like it's a shitty ad. Don't get me wrong. I am someone who works in branding and brand management. It's a bad ad. It is nothing more than a really, really bad ad because it's stupid. And it's not stupid in a way of like memorable where you have like I'm sorry, sir. Did you say berries? Berries and cream? I'm just a boy who loves berries. Like that one was so bad that you will never forget the little fucking weird guy who loves berries and cream, right? For the Starburst berries and cream that came out. This is just weird. Like she was like laying there in a blue jean bikini, sexualizing herself for blue jeans, saying like my jeans are blue. Like it was just really, really dumb. And it does kind of relate to what I said last week about sometimes executives like, yeah, I get it. That sounds good. Yeah, her jeans are blue. And it's like, I don't understand how a lot of ads get made. Like some of these are so bad. Either you're trying to be funny or it's like an Emperor's New Clothes kind of scenario where no one wants to tell the person that like this is a really, really bad ad, so they're just a bunch of yes men. But like there's a lot of horses' asses in this. Sydney Sweeney probably deserves one because she's trying to sell us on her being a serious actress in her professional movie career, and then you're like turning yourself into an international spokeswoman who's posing half naked in a blue jean bikini, right? Like which one is it? Are you a spokesperson or are you a serious actress? Like you can't be both. Once you become Mayhem, you kind of stop getting the serious roles. If you look at the guy who played the Vulture on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, who's Mayhem, like he doesn't get a lot of roles because he's known as that spokesperson. So I think all around it's just a loss for everybody who took part in it, including the people who made content bitching about it, both sides.
What I found funny is Janet was like, "No, wait, who's Sydney Sweeney?"
I had to ask that too.
I
I
know.
see a picture.
I know who she is because we took Ann to Baskin Robbins last week, and she's apparently a spokesperson for Baskin Robbins. So, I was like, okay, I kind of know, and I've kind of figured. But you talk about bad at memorable ads. Do you remember the melty old guy that used to do Six Flags?
That guy was good.
That's one where it's incredibly bad and memorable at the same time.
Those work, right? Because they get stuck in your head. Like, again, I'll never forget that guy. I'll never forget the berries and cream guy. I'll never forget the Budweiser frogs. I'll never forget the what's that? Like, right? Those are memorable things. This one will go away. It's stupid. It's not memorable. It's not racist. It's just really a bad ad. Like, it's just like the company that I work with has a 120-page document of their branding guidelines. Anything that they put out has to follow these 120 fucking pages. And you're telling me that American Eagle doesn't have something like that where they can go through and say, hey, we don't want to do this, we don't want to do this, we don't want to do this, we don't want to do this. Like, where the fuck?
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, let's get positive. Let's tip a cap, Scott. Who do you have for us this week?
So I went out and played golf yesterday. Played Country Place, which is now called Pearland Country Club because I guess Country Place doesn't sound as good. I don't know. But played with my brother-in-law, played with his cousin. But they fixed us up with a fourth golfer, and this is it's an 18-year-old kid, and we come to find out we only played 9 holes with him. But come to find out, he is going to Arkansas on a baseball scholarship. So I'm only going to give his first name because, I don't want to put, some kid on blast. His name is Zach. I just wanted to wish him luck because one thing is cool. I was trying to strike up some conversation with him, just trying to, be nice. And I was like, hey, did Arkansas second baseman, is he coming back next year? And he's like, I don't know if he declared for the draft or not, but really I'm going to be a true freshman on an SEC team. I'm not really expecting to start in my first year. And I was like, here's a kid who's got, a solid head on his shoulders. Hopefully he's a second baseman by trade. So I'll be looking up stats just to see if, he gets into a few games this year and see what comes of him.
Yeah, that'd be cool to say you played around the golf with him at some point if he has a successful career. And yeah, it's nice to know he's got a good head on his shoulders. Hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to work hard, compete, see what happens, but I can't expect to just come in and take the job of somebody on one of the best baseball teams in the country, right? Arkansas is traditionally a powerhouse when it comes to baseball.
Runner-up in the College World Series.
Yeah, a good program. So I have one hat tip, and I have one issuing a statement of retraction, maybe, or I don't know what the phrase is. I owe Cooper Hummel an apology. I have been disparaging this man through text messages and podcast comments, and here he is, coming up with a clutch knock on Tuesday night, hitting a big homer here tonight or today during the day. Big Coop dog. My bad, homeboy. I should give you a little more chance, a little more shake. That being said, if we find a better left fielder, I'm totally fine with getting the Coop home. But for the time being, big man Coop, I owe you an apology. I'm going to tip my cap to the Sandman, Adam Sandler. Chef's kiss, mwah, Unhappy Gilmore 2. Scott, I know you watched it. I thought it was wonderful. It was a very well done sequel. Were there a shit ton of cameos? Yeah, sure. But I thought they were all really well worked in. Like it didn't feel forced down my throat. Like there were a lot of golf cameos that I feel like lent credibility to situations where he's like sitting at a table with Jack Nicklaus and Lee Trevino, fucking John Daly living in his garage. Travis Kelce as the waiter. Ed Kelsey is one of the former champions. Ricky Fowler and Xander Schauffele's little part with this. That's what C said. That's what C said. Comments were like Xander Schauffele not figuring out how to use that phrase properly, then Ricky Fowler nailing it at the beginning. Scotty Scheffler, the way they used Scotty was absolutely fantastic.
Jordan Spieth complaining about getting the wrong drink.
Yeah. I mean, there's like lately the trend has been, hey, let's come back and make a sequel years later for monetary purposes. And I don't necessarily know if that's why he made this movie, right? Like obviously he was paid to do it, but like I feel like he truly wanted to do this for the fans and make a good movie and make a funny movie with his friends and people he likes. And I feel like he did it. Like it is kind of stupid. It's kind of funny. It's almost like a mixture of Caddyshack 2 and Happy Gilmore mixed together because like if they're not playing like real golf, but at the same time, like it was enjoyable and I laughed a lot. I absolutely laughed my ass off watching that movie. The kid, his sons, when they went through like how their work life is going, and they're all humping the different things in air where they work. He's like, I might win Employee of the Month of the Pharmacy. And he's got like a fucking crutch and he's just humping. Or like the kid who's humping with the light, and then next thing you know, the plane crashes because he's not paying attention. Like it just lined up perfectly with like what you expect a Happy Gilmore movie to be. And it got my daughter willing to say, yes, she will watch Billy Madison with me.
Well, a quick note on that movie. What I loved, I love the willingness of the stars of the game of golf to do more than cameos. I mean, to have Scotty Scheffler play such a huge role, to have Rory McIlroy play such a huge role. I mean, Scotty Scheffler with the whole "no, no, not again" when he's getting arrested. I mean, that was classic.
And then he's like, "Oh, what's for dinner? Oh, fried chicken. I'll stay another night.
I'm staying.
Staying."
Bullying
Like,
the guy.
don't touch that TV.
Yeah. What I will say about Cooper Hummel is, to me, Cooper Hummel represents two things that I think is a perfect illustration of. Number one, he is the replacement level player. Like when you see a guy has 0.0 WAR and you're like, what does that mean? That's Cooper Hummel. And what that means is that if you took anybody up from AAA and you sat there and said, you're going to play left field every day, they're going to do some good things. I mean, things are going to happen that are positive. But what I love about sports is, when do those things happen? I remember watching. Do you remember when the Rays ended up playing like a 163rd game to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, for the Rangers, right?
And they ended up, it was their first baseman, Kyla something, who had like 7 major league home runs or something like that. I mean, his career was nothing. He hit the game-tying home run in the 9th inning. So here's this guy with only 7 major league home runs, and one of them ties the game in the 163rd game of the year. I mean, you can't make that stuff up sometimes. So Cooper Hummel, he hasn't had very many big hits. I mean, he was mired in like a 1 for 40 at one point, but he came up with a big hit in the game we went to, and he came up with a big hit today. So good for him. I'm glad he's able to contribute.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think you nailed it. Like, Cooper Hummel is a replacement level player, and right now he is replacing players. Right, the people are hurt. I commend that you, in the opportunity you had to make a difference in the outcome of a game, you took advantage of it. Right, and today you just clobbered a fucking line drive. So, great job there. I would like to add in one more comment on Adam Sandler. In anticipation of the movie, we're talking about it at dinner the other night with like my wife's side of the family, and my future brother-in-law goes, "I don't really like Adam Sandler movies," and we're talking, and it comes out he's never seen Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Mr. Deeds, or what's the one where he adopts the kid, Big Daddy. So I'm like, you've never seen his 4 best movies, and you're gonna say, I don't really like Adam Sandler movies. I'm like, what are you going off of? He's like, well, Grown Ups 1 was good, but Grown Ups 2 wasn't very good. It's just like, you gotta watch some classic Sandman before you come out with a fucking take like that.
Actually, the movie that was really underrated for him is, did you ever see Blended?
Blended's a good one, yeah. 50 First Dates, another good one.
Yeah, I mean, and Click was actually not too bad.
Click's fun.
So
Grown Ups isn't a cinematic masterpiece, but it's a funny movie that you can watch as a family and not be like, this is so stupid. I can't believe I'm sitting here watching this movie. Like some of the stuff I watch with my family.
You can't, but the thing is, you can't watch a movie like Billy Madison and go like, well, I am with the Oscar committee and I am looking for cinematic brilliance. What you're looking at is there are scenes within those movies that just, if you're drinking something, makes you spit it up because it's so damn funny.
I watched Tommy Boy the other night. It's like, is it a cinematic masterpiece? I don't know, but it's a 30-something-year-old movie that I will crack up laughing every time I watch because it's funny.
Son of a...
I don't know. I could get a good look at a T-bone steak by sticking my head up a bull's ass, but I'd rather take the butcher's word for it. All right, Scott, it's time to give away our final award of the night, and I think you guys I think we are in lockstep on this one today.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this is the first time that we've done this in either of our two shows, Tim. We're giving it to the same man, but we're giving it to two very different reasons. And I agree 100% with your reason, and I think you probably agree with where I'm going with mine. But we're going to go with Rob Manfred. And again, some of this is obviously reaction, but it just gets me to hate Manfred that much more. So I mentioned Emmanuel Clase, who was suspended with pay until August 31st for investigation, something related to gambling. I don't know. Did you hear exactly what
they're going after? Prop bets. So there's a lot of evidence. It started with one of the starting pitchers.
Yeah, I saw that one
from the Indians. And it was prop bets of like first pitch of the game, strike or ball, and he's throwing like egregious balls to start the game. And so I think that started where they started looking at little prop bets where you can not necessarily change the outcome of the game, but make a little money for yourself on the side.
So, I saw an episode of Poker Face. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I haven't, no.
And there was a baseball one, and the whole thing is that they had lost like 37 consecutive games. And they found out that they were 22-1 to lose their last 4 games. So they collected all their money. And the last game, they brought up a kid from rookie ball. And one of the guys on the team, Doc Elliston. And you know what I'm referring to, right?
You got him high?
And so, I got him on, through some acid. And this kid's got a no-hitter going into the 9th inning. And so the catcher's just telling the guy, just butt. You'll score. Butt. It was ridiculous. So the guy bunts. He throws the ball into center field instead of the first base. The center fielder, throws it over the second baseman's head. They just kind of fumble and run into each other. But anyway, yeah. So is sign stealing worse than gambling, Tim?
I don't think so.
I think gambling is worse than sign stealing because with sign stealing, you're trying to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so my problem is with what my 2 problems with Manfred. Number one, with the sign stealing thing, you set that up when you put a monitor in the dugouts, allowing teams to watch it and potentially challenge calls without setting up thinking like, oh, it's somebody.
Any parameters whatsoever on that monitor.
Without going like, maybe we should set up something where we prevent cheating. Oh, no. And so I feel like the same thing has happened with gambling. Gambling, the Major League Baseball, just like the other sports, have gotten in bed with the DraftKings and the what are some of the other ones like FanDuel and some of the ones like that.
FanDuel and DraftKings are the 2 main ones.
And yeah, it's a revenue thing. But if you don't put any safeguards in place, what in the fuck do you think is going to happen? And especially if you have a guy that's like I'm making $750,000 a year, major league minimum, and you sit there and tell me I could make an easy $100,000 just by throwing a ball. What do you think I'm going to do? Because I could see him rationalizing it, going like, this doesn't impact the game. It's just one pitch. And so my Manfred for not putting in safeguards, but then you get your, social justice, social media warriors are like, and the Astros didn't get punished at all for their thing, and so much bullshit. Gambling is the integrity of the whole sport. If you have teams and players that are not trying, that's the whole reason you watch. I might as well watch wrestling. I'm going to do that. And I know some people who enjoy wrestling, and as long as you realize it's fake, then hey, enjoy it, knock yourself out. It's just like anything else. But the reason why we watch baseball, football, basketball, who gives a shit about hockey? The reason why you watch those is because you don't know who's going to win the game. It's drama. And so if you've got a pitcher out there going like, well, I'm just going to throw a bunch of balls because I can get a parlay bet, that's worse than somebody going like, well, you decided not to wear an earpiece, so fuck you, we're gonna steal your signs.
Absolutely. And I think one of the best ways to encapsulate, there's a post I saw on the internet. It was announcing Manuel Clase's suspension. It's this announcement brought to you by DraftKings, right? Like
I said that one.
They are embedded in every aspect of it. You know, Fantasy 9 every day. You can play daily FanDuel leagues. You can do all this other stuff. Like, gambling is very much a part of the American culture. You can't put the snake back in the cage, right? It's out. There's fucking snakes on the motherfucking plane right now, right? Like, you cannot get them back in the bag. So what are you going to do? Like, as you said, there's no safeguards, no rails, no nothing. And prop bets are a problem. Like, as you said, one pitch doesn't change the outcome of a game. I liken it almost to like point shaving in a basketball game, right? Like, yeah, we still won the game, We won by 8 instead of 10. No big deal. That's how guys are justifying it. I think first pitch ball, no big deal. It's really not a big deal. And in all honesty, it's really not. But when you're betting on it, or someone is betting on it, and you're getting paid for the outcome of it, yeah, it's even as a bettor, right? Like, to know that the integrity of my bet is not safe, that's bullshit too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's frustrating is the reason Manfred get involved is probably because DraftKings wants them to, because now the integrity of the bet isn't safe, not even the integrity of the game.
Yeah, and to me, I don't know what safeguards you put in place, but that's a conversation that should have been had before we make all these deals with DraftKings and FanDuel and Prize Picks and all these other things.
It'd be hilarious if the account was like Emmanuel.Clase at CLEGuardians.com. Like, that was the domain. Like, well, how did they catch me? I don't even know. I was so careful. Really? Use your work email, bro. Like, come on now.
All right.
Or it's guardianscloser@gmail.com is like his personal email that he used to sign up for.
Right. I know.
Clase the door at Clase the door email.com.
All right, Tim. I know who you got, so tell me why you got him.
So reports came out this week that Rob Manfred and Bryce Harper got into what could only be called as a heated argument, as Bryce Harper got in Rob Manfred's face and told him to, and I quote, "Go fuck yourself." Now, you may wonder if this is like 1990s sitcom. Let's start at the beginning. Like, why did we end up here? The fucking commissioner of Major League Baseball, who was there to represent the owners, walked in to a Major League Baseball locker room, who are all members of a players' union, who are coming up on a new collective bargaining agreement that needs to be signed after the 2026 season, to try and convince them on his own that a salary cap is good for them. Which is basically saying around the room, you all need to take pay cuts, right? Like, to essentially make this as understandable for everyday Americans who didn't work in that world or don't have the working knowledge of what a salary cap would do for baseball. Like, right now, like, guys like Juan Soto make what they make because there is no salary cap, right? So if you come in and say there's a hard cap, you cannot go above this, you're telling guys you're not going to continue to see the growth on these contracts that you're seeing, and you're now going to take a pay cut. If you had a free agency period after 2026, you're going to be making less money than if you had a free agency period in 2025. He walked into a locker room full of people, said that to their face, and then is shocked when they say, "Get the fuck out of our locker room, fuck you." I don't know, and this is why I wish I could be part of a union. I'm big pro union, because if my boss came to me and said, we're gonna decrease your pay, and I said, "Go fuck yourself," to my boss, I would get fired because I don't have the protection of my union. These guys can tell Rob Manfred to go fuck himself, call my union representative, and that's why I love unions. But what a piece of shit Manfred is for even trying that move. Like, he says it's a part of outreach where he goes into every clubhouse and meets with people. Like, you're like a narc, bro. Like, you are no good. You are bad. You are trying to go into every locker room and basically fucking inception them into taking a pay decrease.
All right, Tim. The one thing I'll say on this is that I think salary caps have worked in the NBA and the NFL. But help me out here, Tim. Is there anybody in the NFL spending like 50% of the cap? Any teams out there going like,
no?
And why is that?
There's actually, and to make sure that they don't, Scott, I believe there's a floor.
And why else would there be, Tim?
To make sure that the competitive balance is fair and you don't have people completely bottoming out for draft picks.
Well,
and the union obviously argued for that, so that way teams couldn't just get cheap and not pay people. They have to spend a certain amount of money on free agents.
There's that, but there's also revenue sharing.
Yes, you have to meet that to get revenue sharing.
And but in the NFL, it's all national contracts. There are no local contracts. In the NBA, there are local contracts, but there's revenue sharing. So is anybody really spending below the cap in the NBA?
Not really.
Not really, right? So if you were going to tell me in Major League Baseball that we're going to set the cap at, let's just say $200 million. If you could guarantee every team spent $200 million or close to it, the players.
I even say the floor should be 150, right? Hey, you got to spend 150, but the cap is 225 or something like that.
But the point is that if you did that, then you wouldn't be making the players take a pay cut. You would just be rearranging where the players would go. But the twofold problem is that you have teams like the homeless A's, like the Rays, like the Pirates, who don't make dick. And their owners, while they personally might be billionaires, want to make sure that they operate at a profit, so they're not going to overextend themselves, right? But then you have other teams, other owners like Steve Cohen, who's like, fuck it. I've got, $40 billion or however much he has.
I'll write a check personally.
Here's $1 billion, Juan Soto. What do I care? I mean, and that's how that worked. In the Mets, what did they do at the trade deadline? As last time I checked, they've gotten 3 new relief pitchers. 2 of them were closers. And they already had Edwin Diaz. So they're basically like, we see a weakness on our team. Fuck it, we're going for it. Here we go. And then you got other teams who are like, Minnesota's obviously surrendering. They've already traded a couple of key pieces. Cleveland's already surrendering. They've traded a few key pieces. And then that doesn't even mention your bottom dwellers, like your Rockies and your Athletics and your Rays. And the Rays are competitive, and they're still probably going to sell. So the problem isn't a salary cap per se. The problem is that you can't bring down the Yankees and Dodgers unless you bring those other teams up. You have to bring those other teams up.
And not only that, Scott, let's look at this completely from a player's point of view. A majority of these guys are not drafted in the first and second round, so they didn't have a high-end signing bonus. They've been making $4,000 to $5,000 a month only during the season for 4 years, 3 years, 4 years. Then you have teams fuck with the time that they call them up just to get that extra control year out of them. Then you have 6 years of team control where you have to literally go sing for your supper if you want a raise. You got to go stand in front of an arbitrator and argue with your employer on why you deserve the raise, and only one of you will be right. There is no meeting in the middle once you get to that point. Then after all that time, you finally get a chance to truly on your own negotiate what you are worth. And you want to come in and tell me after all this stuff that I put up with that works in the owner's favor, you're going to take my first free agency period away from me? You're going to take it away from the legacy of the guys that come behind me? Like, it took, how long did it take to make sure that teams covered the housing of minor league players? That didn't happen until fucking COVID. For hundreds of years, these guys lived with random fucking families who were willing to open their doors, which was fun and folksy in the 1940s and 50s, but it's 2025. You don't need random 21-year-olds living in your house. Get a fucking dorm. It's not that hard. So you've set up every part of the journey for the player to push it off till their big payday. And then right before the big payday comes, you're going to try and convince them to agree to have the rug yanked out from under them? Pretty ballsy.
You know, I don't know if you know this history, Tim. You know who Charlie Finley is, right?
I do, yeah.
You know what his proposal was at the beginning? And the players turned this down. Everybody's a free agent. So think about that. The players turned that down. Now, if they had made that proposal today, do you think the players take it?
Yeah, I think if you could just be a free agent the moment you graduated college, you'd be way into the players' favor. The draft is,
or at the very least, you know, once you hit the major leagues, you're a free agent after your first year.
I mean, it's worth considering, right? Especially for a guy like Cam Smith. Like, you have a chance to really fuck up your relationship with this player over the next 6 years if you don't handle it right. If you're a cheap team and you don't set yourself up for the long term and you go to arbitration and you argue and you do all those things for 6 years because you know you're not going to sign him long term, and then you trade him after year 5, that's why the fucking salary cap is not fair to the players, because there's always going to be teams who operate like that.
Yeah, and that's where you have to and the thing is, and the owners have done this to themselves. The players don't have anything to do with revenue sharing. The players have never said, don't share revenue. The players don't have any part of that. It's the Yankees and Dodgers and Cubs and Red Sox and Mets who said, screw that, we're not sharing our revenue. They're the ones doing that. If you were to share revenues and then you were to sit there and say, okay, in order to get this revenue, you need to spend 80 or 90% of what the cap is, boom. Problem solved.
I agree with you, Scott. I really do. You can't just go in there like that, though, and that's why he's a scumbag. Because again, he works for the owners. He only cares about them getting theirs, and doesn't care about the players at all. At the end of the day, and that's what's truly frustrating. All right, we have one final update for everybody. Some breaking news on the financing of aquatic kangaroo exploration front. Last week, we told everybody about the issues we were having with shit, the hippopotamus based organization. It seems that shit has flushed everything away, Scott. They wasted all their money on a pretty big ad spend, and it flushed it all away. So good news there. We don't have to worry about the shit storm anymore because the shit got flushed away.
However, is it all good news, Tim?
I mean, I was trying to keep things positive, but if you want to peek the curtain back a little bit, we can.
Because I think that we had another organization. I don't know. Did you find the information on this one? Were you able to look it up and find it?
I'm still going through DBAs, different legal documents. I don't want to bore anybody, but again, we are under attack. The organization goes by Anal. I haven't quite figured out who's behind the attack, but it's an anal assault for sure. That's happening right now, and we need your help. Obviously, again, you guys helped us withstand the shitstorm, but now we definitely need your help as we fight against the anal assault. From what I've seen, it's a narwhal-based organization. The American Narwhal Auditory League, I think from what I've seen, they're down there trying to record the narwhal and the sounds of the narwhal. And again, they're saying that our kangaroo-based submarines are interfering with the sounds that they're recording of the narwhal. Apparently, we're onto something, right? Finding Atlantis. Narwhals are mythical creatures, so if we're interfering with that kind of sound, we've got to be near that mythical land of Atlantis.
Now, last week we made the mistake. I made the mistake of calling it donations. Now, we were donating to Flippy's memorial service, and it was a wonderful memorial service, Tim. I know that you were pleased with how that went down. Very good send off for Flippy. Our lab is in need of scientists. So call it a donation, call it an investment. You're investing in the Kangaroo College Fund. We need some new scientists, and Flippy is going to be missed. I loved his look, in the scientific goggles. I mean, Flippy just, he worked very hard, took that occasional smoke break. Unfortunately, the hippo got him during the smoke break, but we need some new kangaroo scientists. And if you would like to invest in a college education for a key kangaroo, we would love for you to send that money to fake@gmail.com.
And here's why we need you to step the donations up a little bit, people. Okay? I hate to be that guy, but when Scott says we need more scientist kangaroos, we can't just put an Indeed post out there and hire the best kangaroos that come through, right? We've got to go to Australia. We've got to rent a Land Rover, right? Because we're going to travel in style. We're not fucking poor, thanks to you guys. And we've got to capture these kangaroos, okay? Transport them back to our training facility, which again, I can't mention the location of for multiple reasons, national security being one of them. Then we have to college educate these kangaroos. And also we've got to do it quickly because we've got another sub ready to go, ready to launch at any moment. So we need you guys to step it up. The $100, $200, it got us where we are now, but where we are now is a full frontal anal assault with a narwhal-based organization that is claiming that we are interfering with a scientific study as we're trying to do a scientific study of our own, okay? Did we file paperwork? No, because that's for fucking bitches. We don't need paperwork. We need findings, and we need your investments. I need like $5,000 from everybody, $5,000 each from all of our supporters. And next thing you know, again, Atlantean gold.
And you can't say where headquarters is, Tim, mainly because of the anal assault. I mean, we don't want that narwhal group knowing where headquarters is.
No.
And
they have horns. They can do some serious damage.
We don't want any other organizations like shit, coming in here and finding where we're at. And we need a secluded place where the kangaroos can focus on their studies so they can get out real quick.
Obviously, port access so we can get out quickly. But again, when an organization comes like shit comes in and just smears their propaganda all over the walls, it's not what you're looking for. We've got to be open and ready for this anal assault to make sure that we don't get jammed up.
I'm breaking some news here, Tim. Ramon Urias, you know him? Heard of him?
No.
He is now an Astro.
There's our move.
There's your
middle
move.
reliever I was calling for.
Let me look him up real quick. I think he was. Yeah, he was an Oriole. So Baltimore Orioles. He this year. Let's see, totals.
Catcher, first baseman.
So in the regular season, has 8 home runs, 34 RBIs, and I'm not seeing an average.
That's interesting considering some of the conversations around Yiner.
Yeah, so I hope that's not it. But, I guess if you're going to put Doobie back, I don't know. What's your thought here, Tim?
He's a first baseman and a catcher. I don't understand it.
I thought he played third base.
If he plays third base too, that'd be nice. But Baseball Reference had him as a first base and a catcher. First base, bats right, throws right. We'll have to do a little more research, but it's not. These are not the droids we were looking for.
Yeah, well, obviously we hope something else is coming down the pike, right?
Yeah, but hey, we appreciate everybody who joined us this week. Even as we break news, we'll keep you abreast of the anal assault that we are dealing with right now. But obviously, your investment fund is much appreciated as we capture, educate, and train these kangaroos. But that's going to be it for us here on Born of the Bayou Sports. We look forward to having you again on the program next week. We'll see everybody on Born of the Bayou Sports next week.